Over the past few weeks, InfoWars has been documenting the illegal immigration influx coming into the United States. This week, our crew is in El Paso, Texas, where Staff Sergeant Joe Biggs and Rob Dew had a chance to sit down with the VP of the Border Patrol Union. This is an exclusive interview that you'll find only here, premiering now on the InfoWars Nightly News.
My name is Stu Harris. I'm First Vice President with Local 1929 of the National Border Patrol Council. Right now, the biggest concern obviously is this Central American invasion that's happening right now, and not just the humanitarian aspect of it, because what we know is that the cartels control the smuggling routes, and it's the cartels that are pushing these people from Central America across the river instead of taking them to a port of entry, where if they turn themselves in at a port of entry, the end result is going to be the same. So it's the cartels pushing these groups across the river to tie up our agents, and meanwhile our agents are tied up processing, feeding these people, changing diapers, and the drug cartels are running whoever they want across the border and other places. And who or what is coming in, we don't know, and we won't know until something bad happens. And that right now is the biggest concern that we have, and this has to be addressed. We want to make sure they're not carrying any infectious diseases or contagious diseases, so our agents aren't put in harm's way unnecessarily. Once that's done, obviously, medical evaluation if they need it. If they're asking for any kind of medical assistance, we'll provide what we can there. And then they're taken to a processing center where they either wait to be processed or they're sent to El Paso or Tucson, and they're run through the system, fingerprints, the whole 9 yards. They're issued a packet. They're given a notice to appear before a judge, and they're released. A lot of what we're hearing in the media and other places is that, the conditions in Central America, they're just horrible conditions. There's violence, there's gang violence, and that's true. And, that's a terrible, terrible way to have to live. But that's been going on for more than 10 years, okay? So for this invasion to start suddenly happening, something else had to change. And what changed was the fact that we were engaging in this catch and release program. And word spreads fast. And our agents are interviewing these people when they're being processed. And one of the things they ask them, so why come now? And the answer is 90% of the time, because you're going to give me a permiso or a permit. They know they're going to be processed and released, and they're free to go wherever they want to go in the United States. And the likelihood of them ever showing up is, for their court date, slim to none. And, even if they did show up for their court date, what we're going to start seeing is what we call the anchor babies, okay? Because these court dates are being set, from what I understand, so far down the road. These people are going to come here, they're going to settle in, some of them are going to have children. Those children are now United States citizens. How is the judge going to deport these people if they have a United States citizen as a child? He's not, even if they did show up. So that's a problem. I don't have an exact number on it. If I had to guess, I would say probably about 90% of these people, once they're here, and they're not going to go before an immigration judge knowing that they could be facing deportation. We're absolutely against amnesty. Amnesty has been touted as, we need to bring these people out of the shadows, and, well, that's all well and good, but we shouldn't be letting them go into the shadows in the first place like we're doing right now. So amnesty is not the answer. Well, it is a huge burden, and I'm sure DHS has been rated one of the worst places to work in the federal government, and that's because of the morale issue. Now you pile a situation like this on top, our agents are looking for jobs elsewhere. Some are ready to leave go back to their hometown, work for their local police department. So it's a huge burden. Morale is the worst that it's ever been by far. And again, this situation has to be addressed. I know of at least one from our sector that transferred to another job. And I know more of our agents are looking. Right now, in places other than the Rio Grande Valley sector, our agents are being pulled off the line in less than their 10-hour shifts because of the budget concerns. And so it's exposing some areas. But we're starting to see what's happening in the Rio Grande Valley sector. We're starting to see that here. We've had upwards of 70 people from Central America just turn themselves into the agents here. So this is a southwest border problem, and it's also a problem for the United States because these people are going throughout the United States. It's hard to say. I mean,
So you said it's averaging about 100, 150 a day almost?
yeah, about 100, 150 a day. That's about the best number I could put on it. You know, if they do the right thing and start detaining these people and not catch and release like they are now, the problem as far as the Central American invasion that's going on right now will stop. As we've seen it in the past. We've seen it, I think it was in 2004, we had a lot of people from Brazil that were coming in. Not at this magnitude, but that's what was happening here. And when we started detaining those people, it stopped. As far as how many people are getting biased that we don't know about, I just don't know how you can put a number on something that you don't see or something that you can't physically count.
The globalists have controlled the mainstream media for a long time, but now they're expanding, making the weaponization even more vicious and deceptive. All the major networks are state-run.
We are partnering this year with the NFL.
The NFL has become a political weapon against the Second Amendment and pushes Obamacare. MSNBC tells us that our children belong to the state.
We have to break through our kind of private idea that kids belong to their parents or kids belong to their families and recognize that kids belong to whole communities.
The brainwashing media machine has been turned up on high, and it's time for humanity to double down on the true people's media and strike back against the tyrants that are destroying our civilization with their lies and fraud. We are the resistance. You are the resistance. You are the InfoWar. It is more important than ever to realize that we are not the alternative media. We are the true media. The establishment dinosaur press is dying.
We are in an information war, and we are losing that war.
Join us at InfoWarsNews.com and PrisonPlanet.tv. Members can share their memberships with up to 11 people. By subscribing, you will literally be buying war bonds in the info war to expand our operation in the face of the tyrants. Join us at PrisonPlanet.tv.